In 1685, King Charles II of England woke up feeling a little off. A headache, maybe some fatigue. Could be a hangover, could be royal stress. Nothing serious, right? Wrong. This mild discomfort would kickstart one of the most aggressively enthusiastic medical interventions in royal history. And spoiler alert, it ends with the king being essentially slow-roasted like a medieval chicken. Let's rewind. Charles II, aka the Merry Monarch, wasn't always merry. His dad, Charles I, got his head chopped off in a very public, very dramatic beheading. Young Charles ran for his life, at one point hiding in a literal oak tree to avoid Cromwell's troops. Yes, a future king in a tree, royal dignity. But fortune turned. In 1660, after Cromwell died and the British missed having fun, Charles was invited back to rule, and rule he did, in style. The man lived like a rock star. He had at least 17 mistresses, over 15 illegitimate children, and a love of theater, parties, and scientific curiosity. He even founded the Royal Society, which would one day include names like Newton and Darwin. Not bad for a guy who also believed rubbing pigeon poop on your feet might cure illness. Wait, what? Yeah, we'll get to that. February 2nd, 1685. Charles collapses. Immediately, 6 royal physicians rush in. Now, you might think, 6 doctors? That sounds promising. But these weren't modern doctors. This was the 17th century when the biggest medical breakthroughs involved leeches and vomiting. If you were sick back then, the cure was often worse than the disease. And for Charles II, the treatment plan was epic. Step 1. Drain the life out of him. They start with bloodletting. A lot of it. 700 milliliters of blood to be exact. About a bottle and a half of soda. From a man already weak and bedridden. And when Charles doesn't magically recover, they decide, clearly, the toxins must still be inside him. Step 2. Let's induce vomiting. With metals, yes. The royal doctors brew up a concoction of antimony, a toxic metal, herbs, and possibly bile from animals. They pour it down the king's throat. Charles's eyes roll back. He vomits so violently he faints. And the doctors cheer. Huzzah! He's purging the evil! Meanwhile, Charles is barely conscious. Step 3. 60 royal enemas in 5 days. Now that the top end has been addressed, they move to the bottom. They prepare royal-grade enema fluids with cardamom, cinnamon, salt, and other spices. Basically a medieval pumpkin spice latte. And they apply this every 2 hours for 5 straight days. That's 60 enemas. Even Taco Bell wouldn't do you this dirty. Step 4. Pigeon poop and skull soup. Getting desperate, the doctors try an ancient remedy, rubbing pigeon dung on the king's feet. Spoiler, it doesn't help. Next, they make him drink a miracle tonic brewed from goat bile and powdered human skull. Yes, human skull. Because if it's weird and gross, surely it must be medicine. Charles drinks it and collapses. Step 5, the final touch. Roast the king's brain. At this point, the king is practically a skeleton with a crown. So what's next? They heat a metal plate until it glows red hot and press it against his scalp. The smell of roasted royal hair fills the room. Charles screams, then passes out. A blackened blister forms on his head. The doctors pop it. Dark fluid oozes out. They call it progress. February 6, 1685. Charles dies. Age 54. His final words? Do not let the poor devils suffer on my account. I am sure they did their best. Classy to the end. But we all know. They really tried their best to kill him. Ironically, Charles was one of the more progressive monarchs of his time. He supported freedom of speech, revived the arts, and pushed scientific discovery. But thanks to some truly medieval healthcare, he became a case study in how not to treat a royal cold. But wait, why all this torture in the name of medicine? In the 1600s, doctors followed the four humors theory. Human health was believed to rely on a balance of blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile. Too much of one? You get leeches, vomiting, or fire on your forehead. It wasn't medicine. It was alchemy meets guesswork. Doctors were more like medieval chefs with a side hustle in torture. And here's the real twist. Despite everything, Charles II is remembered fondly. The man partied, womanized, and founded a scientific revolution, only to be scientifically killed by his own medical team. The British even nicknamed him the Merry Monarch. But maybe, just maybe, he deserved a merrier ending. Unlikely Histories, the takeaway? History isn't just kings and battles. Sometimes it's a pigeon poop foot massage and a flaming skull cap. So next time you complain about modern medicine, remember, at least your doctor probably won't roast your brain.